Consider this your sign to skip the what's for dinner debate tonight. Outback Steakhouse has a 3-course meal starting at just $14.99. Start with soup or salad, then take your pick of down-under entrees, like our juicy towering burger or flame-grilled shrimp. And for dessert, New York-style cheesecake, plus $8 cocktails all day, every day. 3 courses, starting at $14.99. Tell the group chat you'll see them at Outback. Price and participation may vary.
On today's Smart 7, Israel regrets strikes that killed 5 journalists. Lavrov pushes back on Ukraine peace talks and much more. It's Tuesday, 26th of August. It's National Dog Day and happy birthday, Dylan O'Brien.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Israel was widely condemned on Monday for a strike on the Nasser hospital in Gaza, which killed 5 journalists and at least 15 other people. The twin strike, which appeared to be what is known as a double tap, is used by Russian forces to kill first responders, and if it was intentional would be seen as a war crime. Foreign Secretary David Lammy was amongst those condemning the strikes, saying he was horrified and calling for an immediate ceasefire. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu issued a statement saying that Israel deeply regrets what he described as a tragic mishap. The journalist killed worked for Reuters, AP and Al Jazeera, and managing editor of Al Jazeera, Mohammed Mouawad, paid tribute to his staff member Mohammed Salam.
So we're talking about a crime against journalism, against journalists committed again. Mohammed Salama, who was a very dedicated and brave photojournalist who reported since the beginning of this war.
Tess Ingram from UNICEF says now that a famine has officially been declared in Gaza, Israel must act on demands for a ceasefire.
They're living through a famine, they're malnourished, they're hungry, they're exhausted and they're traumatized. So again, the best medicine for this famine is a ceasefire, and that's what we need to see with urgency now more than ever before.
Ukraine celebrated its Independence Day over the weekend with messages of congratulations from world leaders, but fresh waves of airstrikes from Russia. Ukrainian President Zelensky is continuing to push for a head-to-head meeting with Russian President Putin, or at least a trilateral meeting with Putin and Trump, but there's been no sign of progress. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was not sounding positive and criticised Zelensky for calling for a meeting at all costs.
There is no meeting planned. Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda would be ready for a summit. And this agenda is not ready at all.
US Vice President J.D. Vance tried to strike a more positive note, saying that Russia has already made some concessions and that they've acknowledged that some form of security guarantee is essential for Ukraine. With Ukraine continuing to strike at Russia's oil infrastructure, former National Security Advisor Lord Ricketts says the writing is on the wall for Putin.
If you look at the big picture, they've really lost badly already. One of the things they did not want was more NATO closer to Russia. Well, they've got Finland and Sweden in NATO now. And they've also got new determination by the Europeans to up their spending on defence and to stand with Ukraine.
After last week's court injunction against the Bell Hotel in Epping on planning grounds, both the hotel and the Home Office are seeking leave to appeal the decision. The Home Office is also working to reform the immigration system with a new panel of independent adjudicators to be appointed to deal with asylum claims and appeals. In the meantime, there are still 32,000 asylum seekers in hotels, although Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has pledged to end the practice by 2029 and says there will be a big surge of hotel closures in the new year. Tory MP Lewis Cocking seems to have forgotten that the immigration crisis started under his party in government.
The government shouldn't be appealing this decision. They stood on a manifesto to close asylum hotels, and now we're in this bizarre situation where the government is taking their own manifesto through the courts to say, actually, we want to overturn this decision. That is a bizarre thing.
It was another weekend of chaos in Donald Trump's administration. Trump's former National Security Advisor John Bolton had his house raided by the FBI, presumably searching for classified intelligence after Bolton spoke out against Trump. In Washington, D.C., the National Guard troops on the streets will now be armed, and Trump has threatened to send them to Chicago next. And his immigration force, ICE, continued their long-running battle with Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the immigrant who was wrongly deported to El Salvador, labelled a terrorist, then brought back to the US to face what the government says are criminal charges. He was freed on Friday pending trial, but ICE arrested him again on Monday and are threatening to send him to Uganda unless he pleads guilty to the charges against him. He spoke outside the ICE centre in Baltimore.
In my ICE checking, promise me this. Promise me that you will continue to pray, continue to fight, resist, and love, not just for me, but for everybody. Continue to demand freedom.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, Liverpool and Newcastle battle, and Suede make a silky return. Right after this.
Are you experiencing fatigue, low sex drive, weight gain, or brain fog? These may be more than just signs of aging. They could be symptoms of low T. At Dilworth Weight Loss and Hormone Therapy, we specialize in men's health and testosterone replacement therapy. Our licensed providers conduct comprehensive lab testing and develop treatment plans tailored to your individual needs. Visit DilworthWeightLoss.com to schedule your consultation today. DilworthWeightLoss.com. Men's health redefined.
Welcome back.
The second weekend of Premier League action brought delight for Everton as loan signing Jack Grealish helped to deliver a 2-0 win at their brand new stadium. Arsenal picked up a 5-goal win over Leeds, while Chelsea won 5-1 on the road at West Ham. Man United continued to struggle with a 1-1 draw against Fulham, and the new-look Spurs surprised Man City at home with a 2-0 win. Monday evening saw Liverpool travel to Newcastle and battle their way to a 3-2 win to the delight of manager Arne Slot, who had plenty of respect for his opponents.
It was very, very difficult again today. And the other two, last time when we were here, we conceded in the last minute. Now we scored in the last minute. So what we can say is that these teams, when they play each other, it's every time a very close call.
It's 30 years since the glorious days of Britpop when Oasis and Blur battled it out to top the charts, and you could hardly turn a corner without bumping into a new band. The summer of 2025 has seen Oasis back on top of the world with sellout gigs across Europe, Pulpa touring, and even Robbie Williams is back selling out stadiums. And now Suede are back in the spotlight too. And frontman Brett Anderson spoke to Channel 4 News before the release of their 10th album, along with a series of events at London's South Bank Centre.
Nostalgia has never meant anything to me. I'm never interested in what we did in the past. I'm interested in what we're doing in the future. Everyone has to get what they can out of these things, and that's absolutely fine. For Suede, it's all about our next record.
There's a mysterious new thriller on the way called Anniversary. It sees a close-knit family torn apart by a vengeful former student, and it's all set against the backdrop of a mysterious event called The Change. Diane Lane and Kyle Chandler star as the loving parents celebrating their anniversary, while Phoebe Dynevor turns up as the former student and now girlfriend of their son Josh, played by Dylan O'Brien. Things turn tense, and it's not clear what the change is, but it definitely has parallels with the current state of the US, and it hits cinemas in October.
Our son's new girlfriend is a former student. She's radical in her ideology.
Honey, people change.
No, Paul, they don't. I don't think it's a coincidence that she's attached herself to Josh.
Come on, we don't bite. Sure you do.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
AI is transforming customer service. It's real and it works. And with Finn, we've built the #1 AI agent for customer service. We're seeing lots of cases where it's solving up to 90% of real queries for real businesses. This includes the real-world complex stuff like issuing a refund or cancelling an order. And we also see it when Finn goes up against competitors. It's top of all the performance benchmarks, top of the G2 leaderboard, and if you're not happy, we'll refund you up to $1 million, which I think says it all. Check it out for yourself at Finn.ai.